Good morning, YouTube, Twitter. Hope all is going well. PPS back here. It is the first. It's already the 1st of August. Pass the Prop is coming back to you guys for our Monday edition. It's been pretty good. Everything's rolling. Monotone, how was your weekend? I know you took last weekend off. I don't think you did this weekend, though. How'd it go?
It was still a pretty relaxed weekend, though. Pretty chill, laid back. It's a good time to take a little bit of time off for group, kind of play the slate a little bit. But I obviously don't have, three different sports like you do. I don't have UFC going on, all that different stuff, which you absolutely killed, by the way. I love to see it. I love betting on guys that I literally have never heard of and just seeing that, go green in the end of the night. Like, I'm watching reruns of the World Poker Tour while everyone else is watching UFC, but I'm celebrating just the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, UFC was a great card. The main event was fantastic. I said to everybody too. Everybody was on. Everybody loved Pena as a dog. I'm like, dude, she's going to get absolutely nuked. Absolutely nuked. She ended up having to get plastic surgery the next day. She got beat that bad. Nunes beat the living crap out of her. But no, ended up doing really, really well. So I'm happy that happened. Obviously, the DraftKings lineup. If Dontel Mays didn't just shit the bed, man, I would have taken home a pretty nice DraftKings win. But obviously, we can't change the past. Not going to go into it any more than that. But yeah, looking forward to August. Obviously, it's tough to see that month turn over. You don't really want to when you're feeling good, but hopefully we'll be ready to roll here. Looks like we got a good group already in here. We got Carlos in here, Jason popping in here. They beat Jay. That's the first time we've seen someone beat Jay in a long time. Got Dan back in here. Hope you guys are all doing well. I'm getting all these texts here with my boy in it, so I will not talk about him till we get to my first play because obviously you guys know I can't pass that up. Jose's in the chat here. Jay Wells, appreciate it. I'm going to guess the Mets. The Mets are going to be a very, very popular play. I don't know if either one of us have anything in that game, which is kind of funny because it's a Nationals game. Plus the Mets are actually playing extremely well. They just swept the Miami Marlins. So it's interesting. Yeah, sports. Yes, it's been fun. But we got to keep it going. That's the fun part about it is when, just like baseball, man, when you have a good day, you got to forget about it. When you have a bad day, you got to forget about it. It's always the next day. That's kind of how baseball goes. And it's not like football where you can you have a huge day and then you get to kind of relax for a couple of days and enjoy it. Baseball's a grind, man. It's a grind. And it'll definitely put you to the test. So, yes, we will talk about. I will get to every one of those comments once I get to my first play here. But I will let Monotone kick off like we always do. You are going to that same game here for a hit parlay. Two guys that have been pretty good to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even think the chat wants my play today. I think they want to go right to you right here. But you guys will have to stick with me for a quick second right here. I'm going to two of the most consistent guys in baseball this season. I've only went up to minus 130 for hit parlay once all season. It was on the show. It was a success, so I'm hoping we can recreate that right here. I obviously don't love to do that, but these were two of the guys that obviously stuck out the most to me. Rosario 7 for 10 in this matchup in his career. That's pretty insane. Obviously, anytime you get a pitcher that's hitting 700 against the opposing, a batter hitting 700 against the opposing pitcher, that is always something you want to take advantage of. But everything else kind of, sets in line right here too. Rosario's hitting way better at home versus on the road. That's obviously what we like to see. And then his recent form is great. He kind of meets all those three checklists, right? He's great at home. He's got the good recent form right here. And then he's coming in with great batter versus pitcher history. Very similar thing with Freddie Freeman. I'm kind of sick of talking about Freddie Freeman. It's annoying. You think he's going to fade. He's going to stop. He crushes right-handed pitching. He's crushing the month of July. I don't think the name or the date change is going to bother him very much. I mean, 3 hits the other night. Like, you think it's going to stop, and he's just compiling these multi-hit games. He's keeping his batting average well above 320. He's going for Goldschmidt right now. He's going for number 2. He's pretty close to passing him right here. I just love Freeman. He's been so good recently, coming in with good recent form versus Webb. I believe 4 for 13 in his career, something along the lines of that. But each of his last 3 matchups against Webb, he's gotten a hit in all 3 of those. Additionally, against Webb's top 3 pitches, against left-handed batting. He's hitting over 300 against all of them. Obviously not a surprise. Both of these guys have been extremely consistent this season. Like I said, I don't love to go up this high in terms of the juice, but I do think both of these guys are going to get the job done. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. I think this is a good combo right here. I'm playing at minus 130 for 1 unit.
Yeah, I love the Edmond Rosario spot. Yeah, Freeman is so tough because, man, you got Mookie Betts, you got Trey Turner, and there's a pitcher you get through those two. You're feeling pretty damn good. You get 2 outs and then have to deal with a former MVP and Freddie Freeman, man. It's just tough to navigate. Tough lineup here. But I love the Rosario spot too. And he's going to be in part of my first play. I mean, at this point, you guys already know what's coming. I don't even have to do one of my plays because Cal Quantrill has reached GOAT status. He's hit the 10-0 mark. We have not lost with him on a YouTube play ever. This man is literally the best that we can get. Knock on wood. Obviously, we're putting a run to the test. My run right now on YouTube, plus my Cal Quantrill 10-0 run. We can't let this guy lose. I want to go a full season with this guy winning every single time. And yeah, I see everybody in the chat here absolutely just blowing up Happy Home Quantrill Day. I love to see this. Luck Quantrill in 2 ways already. Quantrill Day for Jake. Dude, it's getting to that point, man. This guy has been fantastic. And he gets blown up on the road, man. He is what you want in a pitcher. His ERA has gotten worse considerably once we've been doing this. But he still has a 231 batting average against pretty decent numbers against lefties. He's actually better against lefties than he is against righties, which I think is going to help him here against the Diamondbacks. Obviously, there's quite a few lefties in Varsho. You're going to get Ketel Marte from this side, and he's going to be better against them just because that changeup has been pretty damn good this season. Diamondbacks actually are the 4th worst hitting team on the road this year, 221 batting average. And if we go into a little bit deeper here on the Guardians overall at home this year, they're 20-15 to the first 5, and then obviously 9 ties. But obviously very good at home. They hit extremely well at home. And then you got Zach Davies coming off the bump. He is actually just coming off the IL. This is his first start off the IL. Very tough to what you really don't know what to expect from him. But home road splits. His road ERA is about a full run higher. We're seeing a lot more power coming there as well. Giving up 6 home runs through that. And he's only got 29 strikeouts in 38 innings. This Guardians team already doesn't strike out. So you're going to have a lot of balls put in play. Team that hits extremely well at home. And you got Cal Quantrill on the mound where they've been just scoring runs for him. His run support has been unbelievable as of late. And we just look at Davies' stuff. There's really no whiffs here. He has a 34% whiff rate on his changeup. Everything else is under 19%. So if we're just sitting changeup, which you probably should be, I think this is a great spot. I think Franmil Reyes is going to be scary here. All righties will be scary. And then you have your lefties at the top of this order. You got Naylor, you got Jose Ramirez. Wow, I can't talk. And Steven Kwan. Like, those guys are not striking out. Jose Ramirez is like a 12% K rate. I think Kwan's under 10%. Yep. This is just going to be a very, very tough matchup for Davies. And obviously, you talked about Rosario already. He can't get righties out. That changeup against righties is so much less effective here. So give me the Guardians. Give me Cal Quantrill. Sign me up for another round. We're going for round 11 here.
Yeah, I mean, I got no words. I'm obviously going to tail this one. This is past the prop legend right here. This is past Nick Chubb. This is past Hunter Renfroe. He's the guy. He's the logo for past the prop. We need to get kind of an NBA, logo situation going right here where we can get Cal on there. Okay. But for the time being, I completely agree with you right here. I obviously love fading a guy coming off the IL for his first start. I've done that a bunch of times this season, mostly through hit parlays, like when Lance Lynn came back, stuff like that. I'll probably be doing it again today with multiple Guardians. You mentioned Kwan, Ramirez. All those guys are playing great right now. We're getting a hot Guardians team taking on, to be honest, one of the worst teams in baseball, right? I'm going to take this one 100%.
Yeah, and as a team that's completely out of things like the Diamondbacks are, trade deadline's coming up here. These guys kind of have to know, you could see Ketel Marte sit if they're getting ready to trade him. You could see a lot of these dudes sit if they're going to be up on the trade block here, especially with it being on Tuesday already. So, I mean, this lineup could get even worse, and this line could get to that minus 130 closer to game time because obviously the Guardians are not selling at the moment here. So, That's the crazy part about this time. This next 2 days are going to be wild. So many spots that we still are kind of expecting to move here, right? Obviously, Soto's up in the air. I don't know if that's going to happen. That's going to be take a king's ransom for that. But you have so many other dudes here. Frankie Montas. You got a lot of good guys here. Only a couple have moved already. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun time here. Let's get to Pikkit. 2 spots for today. Let's look. I don't know. I think you cashed both of your Pikkit spots last time. I think I split because I believe Bieber ended up with like 8. I think.
Yep, Bieber went over.
Yep. And then Woodruff, I'm pretty sure cruised over that.
Yep,
online as well.
The chalk.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. I can't. It's against every rule of my book. Even though it actually has been working quite a bit lately. The public's doing pretty well. Hopefully, the bookies are getting destroyed lately. But yeah, let's start out with Pikkit play number 1 here. John Gray over 6.5 Ks is the number 1 bet place today. Monotone, I'll kick it to you here for the first one.
Yeah, I'm going to be tailing this one. I think Pikkit, we've been on the right page recently. You kind of mentioned the chalk has been doing pretty well. I just think because where we get these number from, it's the chalk for people that actually watch baseball. You know what I mean? Like it's the chalk for people that actually care enough to watch every day. And those people are going to be right more than they're wrong, even if they're not sharps, even if they're just tailing other people, stuff like that. I think that's actually why Pikkit's doing better. So if you guys want to join, code PTP, you can follow us both over there. But for John Gray, I like this one. We were talking about this a little bit before the show right here. And for me, the biggest thing right here is that Orioles lineup, specifically the end of that Orioles lineup. Obviously, once you get past some of those, more name value guys, then, it gets pretty rough, especially in the strikeout department with guys like Mateo at the bottom of that lineup. But either way, Gray has been having a great season, right? He's a guy. I don't know if people notice this stuff or not. There's certain people I just don't play hit parlay people against. Gray's been one of those guys on the season, right? I just simply, when you have a team with so much bad starting pitching and their one good starting pitcher gets on the mound, why would I play a guy that day? I have every other day of the week to do that. It's kind of one of those things right here. I'm trusting Gray. He's having a good season right here. And I trust him to take care of that end of that Orioles lineup because I've tried to fade the Orioles before and it looks really good. Once you get through Mancini and those kind of guys, Santander, you're feeling pretty good, right? And then you get to that back end of the lineup and Odor strikes out, Mateo strikes out, Urias strikes out, and you feel like a fucking idiot. So I'm going to go over right here.
Yeah, I'm going to go over. Not going to break it down much more. I have him in a second. So I will be talking about him in a little bit here. So won't go into a deep dive. I got a lot for you guys here in a second when I drop my next play. Next one, Andrew Heaney over 5.5 facing the Giants. The Giants have been striking out a ton. Giants are at home in this game as well. So I'm going to take the under here. I just don't trust Andrew Heaney. I don't think he's a great pitcher. Obviously, he's taking a huge step forward this year. But when he's going to start getting into those full starts, right, when he was his last team that he played for, for the life of me, I cannot remember where Andrew Heaney was before this, and I used to bet him all the time. Just has a lot of issues with walks. The Giants are a pesky team here. I'm going to be on the under, even though I am not feeling great about it. I won't personally be betting this, but I'm going to take the under here.
Yeah, he was on the Angels for like 8 years.
There it was.
And then the Yankees, right? Yankees for a little bit, I think. But yeah, this is weird, man. He's been good this year, and it doesn't make any. Sorry, what's up?
I said it just scares me. He's been so good. It's just like it's scary.
Well, when I opened this game and I saw that this was one of the most 2 popular plays on the slate, I was, what are we doing here? Like, what? Like, how did this? Like, he's doing good so far this season. Like you said, the Giants are striking out a lot, but I got to go under kind of for like. I can't trust that this is the new Andrew Heaney right here. I mean, we have a large career sample size showing that he's, a mid-tier pitcher, which isn't bad, obviously, but we're getting a very aggressive line right here against a team we know the Giants love. If there's a lefty, he might not see any lefties today, right? The Giants they'll overload that lineup with right-handed bats. Obviously, they've been striking out a little bit more. They could even be trading some people. We're not 100% sure. They're a real wild card. I think them and the Red Sox at the deadline right now, they could do anything. So this is interesting. I'm going to go under right here, but I don't know. It could get crazy. Like we mentioned, trades are real. They actually affect these bets right now. With some of these teams, like a lot could happen in the coming hours before today, before tomorrow. So be a little bit careful. But I'm gonna lean the under right here. I'm gonna take under.
Yeah, it's like week 1 of NFL, right? You haven't seen it. You don't know what's going to happen. You could even, like, 30 minutes before the game, get something crazy, right? Like those crazy scratched guys, like on those. But yeah, this is a scary spot for the Giants. I heard they're taking offers on Rodon now, which is crazy.
Yep.
Please don't send him to the AL because I want my NL Cy Young ticket to stay intact because I will be pissed if he goes to the AL. I will be extremely, extremely pissed. So hopefully he either stays or goes to an NL team here because, yeah, he's pushing. He's doing really well right now, and he's been pushing for it. So, yeah. So, play number 2. I'm going to head to you. Plus money spot here for you. Yeah, not much else you got to say here.
Yeah, this is weird. This line is weird. And it's maybe a trap, which, that happens sometimes, but it's going to be popular. I'm just going to let you guys know that if you don't want to be on one of the most popular plays of the day, you might want to get off. But this line's just wrong, right? Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 total bases plus 100 against almost any right-handed pitcher in baseball is wrong. It shouldn't be plus 100 against almost any right-handed pitcher. We're talking the elite of the elite, right? Evaldi, not in that category, but even more specifically, Yordan's crushed him in his career. He's 7 for 8 against Evaldi in his career with 4 extra base hits. That is insane. That is literally insane. That history is going to be hard to beat on the slate, right? Nobody has a better pitcher versus. I know it's a bit of a small sample, but that is pretty insane. And we're getting one of the best left-handed hitters in baseball, arguably the best, at plus 100 for over 1.5 total bases against a guy that he has crushed in his career. I just don't understand this line. It's plus 100 on MGM yesterday. I actually posted this at 1:30 in the morning on Pikkit last night. I posted the Caesars line, and I just went, this doesn't make sense. And it still doesn't make sense. It's minus 120 on DraftKings now, but still plus 100 over on MGM. You can still get this line at plus 100 in the morning. I don't know why. I'm a little confused. It might be a trap, but it's just too good to, I can't pass up on this. Plus 100, one of the best, players in baseball. Probably the most red hitter on Baseball Savant, like Jay says. It's insane. There's really no reason to fade Yordan today other than imaginary public pressure. So I'm not going to let the imaginary public pressure get to me. I'm going to make the play based on the numbers right here. I'm going over with Yordan Alvarez, 1.5 total bases.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much else you really need to say on this. And I always look at the red of Baseball Savant as this guy's batting 315. I mean, his expected batting average is through the roof, right? How many of these outs are hard hit outs? It was exactly what happened on the last show when I took Austin Riley, right? He screwed everybody because they played early, right? But he had 2 balls over 105 in that game. He goes yard, right? That's what you need to look at. You can't be looking at just box score because Yordan should be batting 330 at this point with that. How hard these balls are being hit, how much hard contact. I think he's 54, right? 54% hard hit rate or something was when I looked at it last time when I took a bet on Yordan. So, I mean, it's hard to ever really pass up that in a spot where we've seen Evaldi give up home runs. I took a home run prop on his last game, and he gives up homers every single time, over 2 home runs per 9 innings. And now you're going up against a guy here who just crushes righties. Obviously, the splitter is a very devastating pitch, but he hasn't been able to locate it as well this year, especially coming off this injury. Sign me up. I like the spot a lot. I can't believe they're giving you a plus spot in front of that. And we're going to go into the John Gray portion of the show here. I'm going John Gray 6Ks with my Starling Marte. They're going to be at minus 129, dude. I thought this should be minus 150, minus 160. I love Starling Marte today, facing off against the infamous Patrick Corbin. Marte has been nothing short of spectacular for the Mets this year. Sitting in that 2-hole. He's been, I don't really even know what else to say for this guy. He's swiping bases. He's getting on infield hits. He's hitting for power. He's got a 340 batting average versus lefties this year. That's including 5 homers. And this is only in 106 total at bats. He's got 13 extra base hits, 36 total hits. You're seeing him swipe bases like crazy. And when we're seeing obviously a guy that we like to fade, I like to take guys that hit well at home and hit well against this, obviously, versus the Southpaw side. He's got a 168 WRC plus versus lefties this year. That is absurd. That's pushing Mike Trout numbers. Hopefully, obviously, pray for Mike Trout. Hopefully, he's doing extremely well. I want him obviously back in the league here. Yep. But like you don't see those types of numbers very often, right? That's saying he's 60% better than an average player versus a left-handed pitcher. Obviously, one of the best protection spots behind you in Pete Alonso and Lindor there too. So this is just a tough lineup for Corbin to go into. I didn't look at any pitcher versus batter numbers. I don't really do that too often. So I would have to turn to you for that. But I don't know what he's done against him personally. But if you're going to give me a lefty versus Starling Marte, I don't even care if it's prime Madison Bumgarner in the playoffs. I'm still going to roll with Starling Marte versus a lefty here. And then John Gray. John Gray at home, he hasn't had that many home starts, which is kind of crazy. He's only got 30 innings pitched at home this year versus 71 on the road. Like, what is that? How is that happening for your top-of-the-line starting pitcher? How is that big of a difference there? But whatever. Still going into it, he's been absolutely electric at home. 2.93 ERA, 2.12 batting average against. And he has a huge bump in strikeout percentage. 10% bump. 34% at home, 24% on the road. Obviously, John Gray's got electric stuff. He's got a high-end fastball here. That curveball is completely a wipeout pitch here. And if we're going to go into even more numbers here, Baltimore absolutely sucks on the road. They're bottom. I think they're 8th worst in the MLB with a 231 average. And they have a 26% K rate on the road as well, which is obviously a very nice number to have. Also, you were talking about it too, how bad that bottom of the lineup is, dude. Honestly, if the Baltimore Orioles could just bat 6 guys, they would probably be the best team in the baseball. Their top 6 is really good, right? You got Mountcastle, Mancini, Cedric Mullins, Santander, Adley's finally swinging the bat. But that bottom 3, man, this is what we said. I think there was a couple other teams that we've been talking about. It's like those bottom 3 could easily K 6 times in a game. And I think it was the Red Sox was the last time I was talking about it. Was it Dahlback, Yolmer Sanchez, and Jackie Bradley Jr.? Like, dude, that's bad. That's just ugly numbers. High strikeout rate. John Gray's got electric stuff. And 213 batting average against at home. That means I expect him to go deeper into this game. I would expect 6 innings from him. And obviously with a 34% K rate, we should hit 6 strikeouts more often than not. And it helps me too with that public play. I'm on the under of it. I'm one spot underneath it. So obviously when we're on the edge like that, these ones are usually 1 or 2 Ks off. So if we're 1 or 2 Ks off, I'll take the 6. And when he gets to 6 through 5 innings and goes out for that next one, I will be sweat-free there and not even have to worry about it. So sign me up. John Gray, 6 strikeouts against Baltimore. Starling Marte to get a hit versus your boy, Patrick Corbin.
Yeah, that Marte look is really good. I mean, he's kind of killed us this season, even if he's been a little bit inconsistent in general, and Corbin, it's tough, man. It's one of those things where, like, the Nationals are so bad. We're like, we can't even give Corbin a fake injury so we can try to work on his stuff because we have nobody that can pitch. Like, we legitimately have nobody that, like, we'd have to sign Dallas Keuchel to come up and take his spot for a week just so we could still fade the Nationals that week, but so Corbin could get some time off. Like, I don't know. I still believe he can turn it around. Not to the point where he was, but to the point where he can be an average MLB pitcher. But, man, it has been brutal. He didn't make it through the first inning. That was the first time in his career, right? We're talking about a guy that's had some really high highs. This is the first time he was ever taken out in the first inning last week. He can't be in a good mental place. I really think it's going to be chalky, but you got to take the Mets. You got to take Scherzer. I don't see Corbin winning this game. I don't think he's in a good place right now, not in a baseball sense, obviously, or in a mental sense. He seems just real down in all those interviews, everything like that. So I'm totally in fading the Mets any way I can. I was going to play Alonso over 1.5 total bases. That was actually going to be my second show pick. But I don't know if you've noticed this. He's walked him like 4 times out of the 10 at-bats they've had this season. And 2 of them were intentional. 2 intentional walks. So 1 intentional walk per game pretty much in Corbin appearances, and then an additional 2 more 4-pitch walks. Like, you can't trust Alonso if he's going to get walked every at-bat, but you brought it up perfectly that Marte's going to be right there in front of him, right? When you have that protection of Lindor, when you have that protection of Alonso, you can't walk Starling Marte. It's not an option. If you want to bet, you know what I mean? It's just not an option. So actually, that was a really good look right there. And I think I'll be telling you on that Marte look for sure.
Yeah, no, everything looks good here. Obviously, I'm sorry your Nationals are playing as badly as they are, but yeah, I mean, Strasburg injury for how long it is, blah, 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 whatever. But yeah, let's we got 40 of you guys in here. Smash that like button. We're going to get to some Q&As and our recap here. Looking like Dan had to dip out a little early, but he said, hey, I got a question for you when we get to Q&A. Fading to Grom tomorrow, if his K's open at like 6.5, he'll be on a pitch count, blah, blah, blah. I think if it's – oh, okay, Aaron just posted in here. DeGrom is limited, but they said 80 pitches, 6 innings max. Man, dude, he's playing the Nationals, though. I would probably be on the under, too, but I don't think they'd open it at 6.5. I think 5.5 is probably where you're going to see it. Because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking the exact same way. I would probably guess 5.5, but I would take the over, to be honest. This dude is so good.
Well, DeGrom is so good, and you guys got to remember, this was on purpose. DeGrom's first matchup coming back is going to be against a Washington team that might not have Josh Bell or Juan Soto anymore. That's a legitimate possibility, right? That will be the worst lineup we see all season, right? As someone that watches this team play week in, week out, that means we're seeing D. Strange Gordon out there in the 5 spot tomorrow. Mikel Franco batting cleanup. That's a lineup where he could get 9 strikeouts in 4 innings. You know what I mean? Like, it really depends on the trade deadline stuff to me, obviously. I think Bell is moved. I don't think Soto's moved, but that Bell being out and now Riley Adams or Juan Soto having to start at first base, I don't know what they're going to do, but that's an extra couple strikeouts right there. So I know it's going to be popular to take the under, but I would not be looking in that direction with what could potentially be an absolutely disgusting lineup the Nationals put out tomorrow.
Yeah, no, Tuesday deadline, right? That's the day. That's when they're going to have it. And
it's 6, so we just won't know. You just won't know until
they could pull them mid-game too. Like
yeah.
That's the craziest part, and then you're screwed, right? So Jay Wells bringing up a question. Were you surprised at all with the Dodgers open at -150? Webb is at home here. Obviously, everybody knows that he's pretty good there. I'm really not. I haven't seen the Giants barely scored last night, dude, on Adrian Sampson at home. So they haven't been hitting well. They scored 4 runs on that team. And obviously it took a Rodon masterpiece last night to obviously keep them in that and winning. So I'm not surprised. I think that the Dodgers actually probably will win this game. But I know how good Webb is at home. Do you have any thoughts? Do you think what's your thoughts here in this game? I mean, this is very up in the air, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I think the Webb home thing has been such a big deal in betting for the last year and a half, where it's been like a lock for a lot of people that they just auto bet the Giants when Webb's at home. But the thing is, they're not the same team as you remember them being last year. First of all, when they were actually cashing that bet for you, they have cashed it a good amount this year. But that team, another team that one could be affected by the trade deadline, but two, like you said, they can't hit. They can't hit. The Dodgers can. It's as simple as that, right? I know the Giants have had their number a little bit, even when they've been bad over the last couple of years. That happens when you're divisional teams, right? Sometimes you get those wins.
Cardinals against the Brewers, man. The Cardinals just play well. They just play well versus them,
But for me, I'm not surprised at all, and I wouldn't be betting the Giants. I never feel the need to bet teams that can't score runs, and the Giants are one of those teams. Obviously, they get it done with very good top-end pitching, and Webb is very good, but this Dodgers team also has some pretty good history against them throughout that lineup. Freeman, Betts, Turner. A lot of these guys have seen Webb a good amount. So for me, I'm not really too interested in taking the Giants at all this season, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, for me to take the Giants here, I need +150 to +160. Yeah, that's what I would need, and that means the Dodgers are -200 in San Francisco. I don't think I will see that number. And this is exactly what I love Dan posting this, because you need to find teams like this. You want to find teams that are screwed, that are just like, we're going to give up, right? Because that week after the trade deadline, no one is going to be adjusted yet. The books are not going to adjust yet. They're going to maybe overreact for one game, then they play well, and then you can just hammer the unders on them or take them to lose these games. But yeah, like, find those teams that are getting rid of all these dudes and just attack them. Just always go at them. Like, I was on the Mets every single game against the Marlins because they just did not look like they want to be there. Even with Pablo Lopez on the bump, they got destroyed, right? It doesn't matter with the pitching. They even lost an Alcantara start, right? They just can't, right? They're just not good at hitting. They're awful hitters.
Yeah, no, I mean, I actually completely agree with that. And I'm glad Dan kind of pointed that out because I'm going to use that information from here on out, right? Like, if you can tell that a team, like, I mean, you can tell kind of from box scores, but as someone that watches, like, I know Dan watches all these games. I know I watch all, like, my Nationals Wizards. You can really tell when a team's just like, it's over. Like, what are we playing for right now? You know, like, what are we doing? Like, our teammates are crying and hugging in the huddle. You know what I mean? They're in the dugout crying and hugging because they're about to leave. What are we supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be a shit feeling for a team. And I just think it's a good idea to definitely take advantage of that from a betting perspective. Cubs are a good example. Nationals might be in a day or two as well. We'll see.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it. Let's go through our recap. We'll come up with our home run parlay here. I'll kick it to you first for your 2 plays and your Pikkit spots.
Yep, I'm going to Med Rosario and Freddie Freeman both to record a hit, -130 over on FanDuel. And then, yep, going for the mega chalk right here, Yordan Alvarez over 1.5 total bases, +100 over on MGM right now.
And then we got our Pikkit play.
Oh, sorry, Pikkit as well. Yep, I'm going over John Gray. You laid out a great argument. I completely agree. Over 6.5 strikeouts right here.
Beautiful. And then the last one.
Yep, Heaney over 5.5. I'm going under. I'm fading the public on this one. I don't have that same kind of trust right here. I'm going under 5.5 Ks.
Beautiful. I will be riding the most profitable train in the industry at the moment, which is Cal Quantrill at home here. Get me on board, right? The Byron Buxton on board train here. Sign me up. Starling Marte to get a hit along with John Gray 6Ks, -129. A little juicy, I know, but it had a lot of plus money plays over the last few days. Pikkit, I'm on the over, obviously. You guys heard me talk about John Gray ad nauseum. And then I'll be on the under as well. So we're on both the same side of the Pikkit spots. Hopefully that means we're coming back with a sweep here. Monotone. All right, you know what time it is. Who are we thinking is going yard today for you?
This one's hard. Obviously. We don't have quite as good of a home run slate for me. I feel like I want to pick one of the chalk guys that I talked about. Yordan is obviously a good example. Pete Alonso. Do you have anything that'll offset those odds, you think? If I go a plus like 280 for
I mean, you could go Judge plus 180.
Oh, on what buck?
I don't know. I just saw it pop up on, I think, DraftKings.
Okay, Alonso's plus 240 on FanDuel. You got anything that offsets?
Yeah. I think I can.
Sounds good.
I think I can. What is that odds for yours?
It's plus 240 on FanDuel for Alonso.
Okay. I think I haven't looked at his number. I haven't checked it out, but I will roll with a guy that I cashed that not everybody got a chance to cash last time I rolled with him. Give me Jesse Winker.
Nice.
Sign me up for Jesse Winker heading into New York. Short porch. You got Domingo Germán giving up a lot of power here to start. A lot of strikeouts, but he has given up quite a bit of power in these early starts. But the biggest thing, we're looking at his away splits. In 187 at-bats, he's had 7 homers on the road. 7 of his 9 home runs are on the road this year. He's got a 251 batting average versus a 190 at home. This is a Winker spot. This is Winker going yard today. Righty on the road. Winker paradise here. Sign me up. I like Jesse today.
That's a good look. Okay, that's plus 350. So that brings us to plus 1480 on this one.
Winker and Alonso.
Yep, that's a good look. I might have to play that Winker one solo a little bit too. I like that. He did mess us up. He owes us one. He really does. He owes past the prop, and he knows that too. I know he's listening right now. So
the worst part is he made me money on that day because I took him twice. I took him in both games, and he hit a homer in both games, and I didn't get to actually cash the ticket on here because he didn't count. But that would have cashed our full ticket. Would have been the finisher there. So. But I love Winker today. I think Winker has a good one, especially now with Julio out. I think that he's going to have to take a step forward here.
Yeah, because I wanted to target Domingo too. That was my first look, but I was like, "Fuck, all their good players are out right now." So maybe
it's an ugly lineup. It's a very ugly lineup.
Yeah, maybe sprinkle Kyle Lewis at plus 500. I don't know.
You're bold, my friend.
That might be a later problem.
All right, well, I think we finished everything up. We got everything on here. We're 35 minutes in, a little bit longer than usual. But, hey, Monotone, we're heading out. What do you got for the people before we head out of here?
Yep, make sure you guys go check us out over on Pikkit Sports. Use code PTP when you sign up, obviously short for Pass the Prop. Completely free app. You guys will get between $3 and $100. If it's free, it's for me. Love free things around here. I posted that Jordan plus 100 over at 1 a.m. last night. I saw a bunch of you guys saw that as well. I'm glad it's still alive here for everyone that can go bet it on the show. But yeah, make sure to check us out on Pikkit. We're both over there. Code PTP.
Yep, make sure you're over there. Obviously, we're starting to grow up a little bit. Our numbers are growing a little bit over there. So good to see a lot of you guys over there. I know everybody's here stacking the Mets. I will not push anything past you. I like that. Stack them up. I mean, you can't really do it in DraftKings because it's probably 75% chalk with Patrick Corbin on the bump. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the support that we've been getting on these. Obviously, like we said, football's coming around. Obviously, I think we're both doing pretty well in MLB as well right now. So hopefully we can keep this run going. And keep you guys engaged and wanting to keep them coming and watching us here every single week. So obviously, thank you guys for the support as always, and we will see you guys on Wednesday for another round of Pass the Prop here. And yeah, you guys know how we do on Wednesday. So hopefully we can come back, talk about a sweep here, and we can get that money here. How did we do last week? I think we did pretty good last week, didn't we?
No
3-1.
No clue.
3-1.
I don't even remember what my last name is, honestly. What's going on?
Yeah, no, Baum Arenado, I think so. So yeah, 3-1. 3-1 on the last one.
3-1.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you guys for tuning in, guys. Let's go for another winning slate here. Have a good one, guys. We'll talk to you guys on Wednesday. Peace.